Hello friends, welcome back to this free Figma course for complete beginners. My name is Ines, I am a principal product designer and a hiring manager with 16 years of experience. Yes, it is 16 already. This free Figma course is published on my YouTube channel, so if you've missed the previous lessons, go and watch them. In this lesson, we're going to dive even deeper in the topic of variables, and we're going to talk about tokens. If you don't know what variables is, that means that you've missed my previous lesson, and I highly recommend you to watch it to get on speed with what we're going to discuss today. So let's first talk about what is a token in Figma. A token is actually a method or a system of organizing variables to ensure scalability of your designs. You might be wondering now, if that is a method, why do we cover that in the Figma course for beginners? The reason for that is that there is a particular feature in Figma that allows this method to exist. And this feature is called aliasing. In the nutshell, it is a possibility for a variable to refer to another variable. That's why I mentioned that watching the previous lesson on variables is essential for you to understand this one. I will show you how and you will understand what I mean, and this feature itself is not really hard to master. The concept of tokens, though, requires some preliminary thinking about the structure of your design system and variables, and I will include the video down below in the description on the tokens method, where you can dive deeper and review how it works on a particular example. Today we're going to focus only on the functions of Figma that allows us to realize this method. So let's open up Figma and see how it works. Let's imagine that we have a very simple design created. We have a screen where there is a white background and a white rectangle that is placed on the screen. Now I will demonstrate you how you can create a variable and how you can use the aliasing to define the background and the rectangle colors that will ensure the scalability of your designs if you will decide to enrich them. Let's go and create the variable then. I will just create a color variable that will be called neutral 0, and it will be coding the white color in itself. Now, when we have our variable, the easiest thing I can do is that I can go to my designs and I can assign this variable directly. There is no problem in that as well. And then the rectangle and the background will both be referencing this one variable. And if the design that I have is simple, there is no mistake in that. But if I will be developing this screen further and the complexity will increase, this simple structure might limit me in the future if I will decide to change the background color, for example, but I would want my object to stay white. The reason for that is because both the object and the background are referencing the same variable. If I change variable, it will change the color everywhere. This is not what I want. So let's get back and let's see how we can do that using aliasing. So here we are going to talk about tokens as a method. According to this methodology, this color that I have inputted here, it is a neutral color or a primitive color. The colors and other variables that are basic enough to be used for everything. But it's not recommended to reference this basic variable directly. Instead, we better create a semantic variable or even a component variable. In the link I included down below, you can understand more about the method and the difference between semantic and component variables. It's actually dependent on the size of your design system and the complexity that you are designing for. For our situation, we would need to create two additional color variables. The first will be called surface background. The other will be called surface object, for example. And now, instead of having there the colors defined directly, we will be referencing our neutral color from the neutral primitive basic palette. So now, visually, nothing has changed, but it changes the way how we potentially can go about recoloring an object. Let's create another color, another neutral variable. Let it be, I don't know, for example, gray one. So now what we can do is that we can recolor the object and the background just by remapping the variables. By the way, I forgot to map the variables accordingly. So now this will be the object and this will be the background, right? And now it is acting accordingly to our plans. Now every time when we need to change the properties for some variables, if we use the semantic variables and we are not referencing the basic ones, we have more possibility to do that without breaking the rest of the design system. Another tip here for you, how I usually prefer to go about this structure, is that I usually create a collection with primitives, meaning our basic colors, our basic font structures and everything, and I do not touch it often. Then, while designing and adding the complexity, I am adding other variables in some other collections that I call semantic collections, or depending on my use case. This way I have them organized, and that prevents me from occasionally mapping an object to a basic variable, which I do not recommend you, and the token methodology is also against it. So go check out the video I included into the description, because there you can learn more about the tokens method. Here today we were only covering the aliasing feature in Figma that will allow you to use the method. That was it for today. I hope you liked this lesson, and if you plan to continue learning Figma, hit the subscribe button down below and click the bell. This way you will get a notification when a new lesson comes out. And I see you in the next lesson.